I look back on the time that I was in Chicago, like out on my own for the first time, just like learning about myself, learning about life, and like, I am begging. I don't like to beg, but I am begging, like all of us, especially like young men. You a young man out on your own for the first time. There's some things I'm begging you. You got to. You have to invest in soaps. I know good men. These are good men. These are good people. These are good young men. They're not gonna cheat. They're not that type of person. But they have some misconceptions about life, like one soap can do it all. It can. I am begging you. It can. First of all, a bar can't do everything. I had a friend. We were all out on our own for the first time. We all, sharing our experiences, getting our own first apartments and stuff like that. He had one bar of soap. One bar of soap to do everything. Yeah. There's little things like that. One bar of soap. He had one bar of Dial soap in his kitchen. Looks like everyone here was raised right. He had one bar of Dial soap in his kitchen. I saw the bar of Dial soap in the kitchen. I was like, interesting, okay. And later on, we were hanging out for a while. I was at his place for hours, and eventually I had to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, and then I went to wash my hands. But there was nothing. There was nothing. There wasn't a bar in the bathroom, and there wasn't. I checked the shower. I was checking. I didn't even see body wash. There was nothing at all. I just had wet hands. I was just wet. Not clean, slippery. Because that's also a whole different conversation. Just because you have wet your hands does not mean you have clean hands. You cannot just wet your hands. This is how disease spreads. You cannot just be wet and nasty. You're still nasty. You're just nasty, but slipperier now. In fact, you have become a super spreader. You now easier to be nasty because you can flip the nasty. You say you wash your hands, you wet your hands. So then, I'm over here, okay, there's nothing in here. There's not a single thing, and he lives alone, there's not a single thing in here. So I was like, okay, look, maybe I caught him on a bad day. He need to go shopping, something like that. So then I did something I very rarely do, but I went ahead and under the sink, opened the cabinet to see if there was just a bar there. Nothing. He didn't even have cleaning products or medicine, or there was just pipe under there. Nothing. There was nothing. And so then finally I got ask him for some soap. So I get ready to leave the bathroom, but it's hard because it's a doorknob. My hands are very wet, and so it took a while. Took an embarrassing. I was over here like. I finally make it out of the bathroom. And I go up to him like, hey, there's no soap in your bathroom. And he's like, oh, my bad, soap's out here. And I said, what? And he was like, yeah, the soap's out here. And he pointed to the soap that was on the kitchen sink, the Dial soap that he apparently also uses on the plates. I don't know what's nastier now. Washing my hands with soap here, because this is the only bar soap I've ever seen that's got food on it. It's insane. Because look, I'm not knocking anybody. I know what it's like to be out on your own for the first time, and you, depending on where you grew up or how you were raised or what you had access to, is going to depend on how you see a good portion of how to move about the world. So I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying what things I think would be helpful. You know, I've been broke and on my own, but you still, you know the things that you're working towards. You know what's in front of you. I'm not saying it makes it easy or affordable. I'm just saying what's in front. Every man in here, every single man in here, I don't care your age, please, I am begging you to have at least in your domain. I don't care if you got roommates. I don't care if you share a couch. In your domain, please have at least one full body mirror. We are leaving the house looking crazy, and we have no idea. We have no idea. And look, nobody gonna tell you. I've left the house looking insane because I didn't have a full body mirror. I was over here. I was over here. fully missing a pocket. Missing one of my back pockets. And not missing as in it was like completely gone. I say missing because it had ripped. And it was hanging behind me like a jean tail. And I had no idea because I didn't have a full body mirror to give myself a twirl before I left. You know, because life is, you know, POV. Life's a first person shooter. You don't know. You don't know unless you look around, unless you look in that mirror, what you really look like. Sometimes we think it looks dope. Sometimes we think it looks fly. And a full body mirror would warn you. You know? I'm not knocking all fedoras. I'm simply saying that some people don't have fedora head shape, and it's not until they see themselves in a fedora that they go, oh, this is for somebody else. Because don't get me wrong, the people who fedoras are for make fedoras look very cool. The people who fedoras are not for make the people who fedoras are for take their fedoras off. You need a mirror. You have to have a mirror. Please don't guess. On the subject of soap, like, this is the other thing. Every soap has a purpose. It's been figured out already. It's been market tested. Our grandparents divided the soaps. Our ancestors had soaps for certain processes. I know times are tough. I've been broke. But there are some things. My buddy, I was at his place and I just went to the bathroom once again. We over there for hours playing video games, everything. I go to his bathroom and all I see, I wasn't even being nosy. I wasn't being nosy. I wasn't looking into his things because I could see it. I could see it right in front of me because he didn't have a shower curtain. So I could see everything that was going on. I didn't peek behind the curtain to be like, ooh, what does he use? No, it was right in front of me because he just lets the whole bathroom get wet. Please buy a shower curtain. Please buy a shower curtain. This is why you got men running around with PS5s, because they think they have this extra income that should be going to... Don't get me wrong, the PS5 is important. It is important. But it is not more important than a mirror and a shower curtain, which are much cheaper than a PS5. You could have bought the PS5 and one less game, and you would have a shower curtain and a mirror. No shower curtain. So if you turn a shower on, you're just about to fight for your life on that tile. But then I see in the shower, no body wash. I see Dawn dish detergent. I'm not a confrontational person, but if you're my friend, I gotta say something. I came out the bathroom with the dish detergent. I was like, no, it can't stay in here. It can't. I walked up to him. I was like, you're not a bowl. Are you a man or are you a cup? What's wrong with you right now? You've been using this on your whole body. This fool over here, it worked for the ducks. I know not. I know. You did not just tell me that you watched a Dawn commercial of them washing a duckling that was a victim of a disaster and thought to yourself, that'll work for me too. I get greasy too. Washing his body. Do you every crease of every crack in your skin is ashy right now. You have stripped every oil, probably some years from your skin. I think you might live a long life, but your skin won't. You gonna run out of skin one day. Be sitting there 89 years old, everybody like, why can I see through you, Dawn? Dish soap. It's tough because they don't see anything wrong. They don't see what's with one bar for the whole house with dish soap in the shower. One friend, he's a friend. He's a good person. He's a good man. He's one of those good people that does the good things that we think we do if we had the time. He makes the time. This man volunteers. This man looks out for people. He's a good man, truly. But when I found out he was taking baths with laundry detergent, There are some decisions people make that make you wonder what other decisions they make. Like when I found out he was using laundry detergent because he liked how it bubbled up, I let it come out. I didn't mean for it to, but it just escaped. I was like, I don't want you voting. I don't want you voting at all. That's crazy. That's one of the craziest things I ever heard what you just said to me. It doesn't feel crazy while you're doing it? Because look, I'm also not better than anybody. I'm not over here pretending I just know so much. Once again, I think it's like some of it's upbringing. I was raised by my mom, my aunt, my grandma, my granddad and everything. My dad as well, but there were just certain things. It's hard to admit. As a man, it is hard to admit, but it's important. It's important that you take everything that you hold on to about what you think life is, and every once in a while you just question it. I'm not even saying you gotta throw out all your beliefs. I'm not saying you're wrong or dumb or anything. I'm saying that every once in a while you take a second, really think about the things you believe, and really ask yourself why you believe those things. Are these just the things that your parents believed? Is this just what you watch other people do? Do you do it to fit in? Is this really how you feel when you're all by yourself? Really question every belief that you have, because when you question those beliefs and you actually have answers for them, it reinstills your faith in the things that you believe. One of the reasons some people are so scared to have a conversation about anything is because they don't really know why they think what they think. And if they get asked a single question that questions anything about what they think, it freaks them out. It rewires their entire worldview. And so I'm just saying, maybe something happened when you were young and it was acceptable, but then you get older and people tell you that it's not, and you hold on to it. And you hold on to it because it's familiar, or you hold on to it because you're like, oh, if I'm wrong about this, what else am I wrong about? You don't have to spiral like that. One idea doesn't mean all ideas. Everything can be handled in its own compartment. Maybe there are parts of your upbringing that are incredible, have instilled in you what it takes to make a remarkable person, a kind person. And then maybe there are things about how you grew up that you maybe want to leave in the past, that you don't want to pass on to the next generation. When I tell you all this, it's to say that, like, as men, I'm begging, as men, you have to buy more than one towel. It has I know you live alone. I know, but the towel is never as clean as you think it is, and it can't be a towel for everything, because then some parts are not good for other parts, and then... Because I'm telling you, sometimes decisions you make in one area, you can tell you're making those same decisions in the other area, Because the same friend who thought he could clean his entire apartment and himself with one bar of soap also thought one towel will do too. And I was like, you are ground zero for the next COVID. I promise you. I don't even know, you reinfecting yourself daily. I don't know how you ever get over a cold. It can't dry you and the dishes. It can't dry you and the dishes. It cannot wash you and the dishes. You just have to, I'm just saying one more time. If we can get you to 2 towels, we have doubled the amount of towels in this home. And that's progress. Please. There are good men out there. When I tell you there are good men, living good lives, by the way. But then when you see their apartment, I get why she thinks you're gonna kill her. because there's one towel. It's one towel. What if she stays? What if she stays? And now there is one towel. And your precious towel, your one towel, the towel that's supposed to keep this entire place dry and clean, is on the floor. What have you done? What have you done? Some of these things can be fixed. Do you know what I mean? Like, some of these things can be fixed. Sometimes, it sucks. I know it sucks. I know it hurts. I know it's bad. I get it. It is bad. To feel a sort of rejection, whether you're used to it or not. Every new rejection is its own thing. And sometimes you put a lot of hope, or you put a lot of energy or intention into what might happen. And so to be disappointed, it's rough. And to face a rejection can make you question yourself, you know? But I guarantee you that every rejection is just leading you to where you're supposed to be. And sometimes it's just not the right time for certain things. A rejection is not the end of the world. And it also sometimes all it's really doing is opening you up to the fact that the path that you had laid out for yourself isn't really for you. You know? It's a scary thing to get what you want and realize you don't really want it. And so sometimes a rejection is a gift. It doesn't mean that it hurts any less. Because sometimes you like someone, you like them a lot, and you like them from a genuine place. All the stuff, forget all this like internet gender war, men versus women, but you like this person and you feel like they like you, and you go out and you have a good time. You have such a good time that they come back to your place. Y'all hang out some more. And then they ghost you. That rejection, that hurts. It really does. And I have empathy for anybody who has gone through that. I understand what it's like to go through it. And maybe you text, or maybe you called, and maybe she didn't respond. Maybe she didn't pick up. And maybe it's because she looked. She looked for a single source of soap that was not the dial bar in the kitchen. Because if you are not washing yourself properly, I'm begging you, just leave it. And look, I'm not saying it's a thing you should have in the back of your head. Oh, she's gonna check my cabinets to make sure I take care of myself. I'm just saying that, like, if you don't use soap, it's not a lot of detective work that goes into. And if you use soap weird, if you doing some soap stuff that's not meant to be done, you also gonna get caught, all right? Because if you washing yourself with dish soap like it's body wash, and you scream every time you put a shirt on, that's also going to be noticeable. You know? Because there are certain things that I see that I could honestly say, at least to me, when I see them, I'm like, yeah, I think only a man would do this, I think. You know what I mean? Like obviously that used to have a sentiment of like something like deeply like misogynistic or bigoted or something, like only a man does this thing. But I feel like when people say it now, some people say it the old way, don't get me wrong, but it has a slightly different like connotation now. Just there's some things I see and I'm like, yeah, At least not that I've met. I personally have not met a woman who would be like, one bar is good. Yeah, you see stuff like that sometimes. I'll even say that kind of popped in my head during that whole Netflix Skyscraper Live. Okay, if you don't know what this is, there's a dude named Alex Honnold who's like a climber. He's a specialty climber. He does free solo, does all that stuff like that, all this free climbing, and he climbed Taipei 101. Tall skyscraper, right? And the entire time he was gonna do it, he was leading up to this live event that was gonna be on Netflix. And I think everybody tuned in to see if he would die. I think, like, that sounds grim to say, but Netflix trying real hard to be the first stream death. Like, they want it bad. You can tell they want it bad. They're like, yeah, let dude go ahead, climb up the skyscraper with no rope, and let's just see what happens. It's like, that's from the people that brought you Squid Game. Yeah, y'all want to see something horrific. That's true. That's just a fact. And then he takes off. This is what the only thing I didn't like about it is that he is doing this incredible thing, but they clearly didn't program the thing that well because they were sure he was gonna die. I'm just being honest with you. They didn't program this thing that well because they just let this expert climber start climbing, and then he climbed like an expert, so then he made it look easy, so then people weren't as impressed as they should have been. Truly, I don't think people realize what he did. They should have had me climb first. They should have had me. And I don't even have to get to the top. I just got to clear like a floor. Okay. All right. Okay. No, I didn't like the way my foot went. Okay, all right. And then just let a regular person who doesn't climb try to ascend. Because then you'll see how difficult the thing is, because this dude is over here making it look easy. He's making it look like cake. You know, just over here. And he's so nimble. And he's got so much strength. He has so much strength. They had that dude do a muscle up in a cutaway. So what they did do, they had a little bit of footage that they pre-taped that they played during some of the live climbs. So they would cut to that once in a while. I personally think they should have had more, but who knows? I guess they thought he'd fall the first 10 minutes or something like that. But anyway, they did this cutaway, and they looked at his training. And for his training, he did a muscle up. If you don't know what a muscle up is, you clearly never been to a park with people who have been to jail. Because, oh, they know how to do a muscle up. Muscle up is something you either get real good at because you practice calisthenics and have a really clean diet and are dedicated to your health and nutrition, or you've just been to prison. Because a muscle up is where you do a pull-up so hard that you pull yourself over the bar and then you're above the bar. It's very hard to not look like a superhero when you do it. And he did a muscle up like it was nothing. He didn't even break a sweat. He was still talking the entire time. He was like, yeah, so I start the day with some of these. And I was like, oh! What type of felony movements are you doing? And so, yeah, have me up there, you know, trying to figure out, because everything looked flat. How do you climb flat? Even Spider-Man looked like he's struggling sometimes. How do you climb flat? Now, this dude's climbing a corner all the way up. 100. I think if it were me, I'd be like, okay, all right, let me get. Yeah. Y'all want to pray one more time before we... Because the way this dude did it, he literally just put his foot up and then jumped up and then was gone. It was wildly impressive. But you wouldn't know it because they didn't have a regular person give them. All right, yeah, y'all give me a second. Yeah. Oh. Okay. They got 100 of these. Okay. I'm gonna get, if I can just get my foot. Yeah, he got it. No, he got it. I'm good. Because then the way he did it was so fast. And everybody was over here like, he could fall. He could do that. They said it way too many times for my liking. They were like, now he's really high up. And they kept doing this thing instead of like showing us once again through someone else how insane this thing is. They just kept saying how insane it was. They were like, this is crazy. I can't stress this enough. My heart is racing. This is crazy. It's so crazy. After like 5 times, you don't believe someone. Even though what they're saying is true, it is crazy. But once again, just have someone like me. Let me start at the 50th story. Because they would get him, he had like these 8 points that he got to where he could like kind of take a break because he had to get through something really hard. And then once he stood up, it was like flat until he climbed up to the next height. Once again, you need someone who doesn't climb to step in again at that stage. Let them start like 30 stories up. No, just let them start like a general 30 stories up. Because it was windy. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm gonna let him do it, actually. Yeah, because this dude, he also didn't play up how hard it was for her. So then he was acting like it was so easy that it just seemed super easy. So after a while, you're watching, you're like, all right, y'all gonna make him do it upside down or something? Like, it was way too easy. He would come over the system because they had a feed. They had him mic'd and they had a feed. And he'd be in the middle of a climb. He'd actually be going backwards. He'd have his hand out, letting his legs hang because he needed to swing the leg up for the next move. And the whole time, instead of being like, whoa! This man was over here making me bad. This man was over here, hey, can y'all put my music back on? Can you put my music? It just doesn't really feel like somebody defied death that hard where they're like, hey, can you put the music back on? I'm a little bored. You know? And they had some really cool shots in it too. They had his wife down there on the ground with him. Then she was up at the midpoint and he waved to her in the window and everything. And she was like, hey. Because she had never been there before with him while he was doing one of these things, because why would you? No, truly, why would you? Why would you? Let him do it. That's his thing. Let him do it. Let him come back home. Why traumatize yourself watching him? You know? Because then he was over here, you know, in one of the documentary portions talking about how, you know, he has kids now and everything, and people always ask him if it's different doing this stuff before he had kids and doing it after. And he was like, well, before I had kids, I never wanted to fall. And now that I have kids, I really don't want to fall. And then that thing, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, I think it hit like number 3, number 6 on Netflix. What do you have to do to be number 1? Like, that's crazy. This man climbed a skyscraper live. Didn't hit number 1. That's why I don't know if I like that top 10 system. Because sometimes, like, murder documentaries will be all there. And if I get murdered and somebody make a documentary about it and I hit like 8, y'all better try again. No. Speaking of things that won't hit number 1. Melania had a documentary come out. Man, Melania had a documentary come out. Melania had this documentary come out, and let's just say, if it were an album, it would have hit aluminum by now. Man, this thing is crazy. Apparently, this is like one of the most expensive licensing agreements of all time or something like that. Or maybe they bought it. I don't know what they did. Whatever it was like millions and millions of dollars. It's like $40 million for the documentary and then like $35 million to market it. You don't have to boo, you're already not there. The movie Melania is out. It's a documentary about Melania. And you would think, oh, a documentary about Melania. That's got to be fascinating, right? She must know so much. She's been standing in the room for all of it. You know? a movie about Melania. Yeah, I'm curious about Melania's life. How did she, how? All of it, how all of it, how? I remember even before he was president, I remember seeing sometimes, like Trump with a beautiful woman, and I'd be like, how? I mean, the answer's money, but there's a part of you that's like, all right, plenty of people have money. But Melania specifically, I was like, how? How? It's crazy. And yeah, it went worldwide. Because I guess you can release anything to everybody. No, it went worldwide. The whole thing is really crazy because the documentary I thought was going to be about her life, which I was like, all right, some people might want to see that to know how. Because we don't really hear from Melania a lot. And when we do, it's not great. Do you know what I mean? Like when we hear from her, we're like, oh, I'm starting to understand how. Because we do this thing that, there's so many problems in the world. It's not like I'm harping on this one as the biggest. But we do a thing where we don't really give women enough agency in their choices, and sometimes we infantilize them, and whenever they're dating or married to a jerk, we always assume they must have been tricked or duped or whatever. And it's like, and this is going to be a hard thing to hear. I understand. But maybe if someone that you know is dating someone that sucks, it might be because they suck too. We did a whole thing in the first term where it was like, oh my gosh, save Melania. Oh my God, the poor baby. She has to be first lady, and he's right there. Meanwhile, look, Melania can not only take care of herself, but she's there because she wants to be. She may not want to do everything. Don't get me wrong. She may not want to do all the responsibilities. But that position in life, being his wife, she's there because she meant to be. She didn't wake up and go, oops. You know what I mean? She's right next to him, and she knows. You can tell she knows. Because whenever he put out his hand, she millions of dollars. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's crazy. Directed by Brett Ratner. Directed by Brett Ratner. No, Brett Ratner. You remember him. Yeah, Brett Ratner making a comeback with this documentary. Brett Ratner directed Rush Hour. Yeah. He directed Rush Hour, and he is a monster? It's crazy. It's great. I would have loved more questions from Melania about linking up with Brett Ratner to direct the documentary. I'm sure I would have asked her, and she would have been like, They say Brett Ratner is Predator, but he didn't even direct that movie. So few people are watching it that when I even just tried to look up the reviews, you can't even trust the reviews because the reviews are like half people who didn't watch it making fun of people not watching it, and then the other half are people who seemingly have been paid through a Craigslist ad to leave a review that is positive about the movie, but they haven't watched it. So they are alluding to things in the movie that I'm sure don't happen because I don't even think they know who Melania is. See what I mean? Like, there was a review I saw, 5 stars, and it was like, I love the fantasy of how it plays out. I especially love Angelina Jolie. And I was like, that is Maleficent. That is crazy that you didn't have the reading comprehensions. And then I saw a bad review, and I know they didn't go. I know they didn't go even give the movie a try because the review was 1 star, and it said, "Wish I'd give it no stars. I died in the theater." We know that didn't happen. How you typing? We know that's not true. Admittedly, I haven't seen it. This movie is a bombing though. This movie. No, this movie bombing bad. This is crazy. I've never seen anything like it. There was one night, it looked like they sold like 2 tickets in London. And not to the same showing. It was 1 ticket for 2 different showings. And this is what you gotta understand about if you're not selling at least a couple in the back of a whole theater for a whole screening, and everybody knows the movie's bad, and you're still not even selling. There were plenty of places all over Europe and in the US that were having no sales for the movie at all, for any showing, right? And that means that even the people who go to the movie theater to do heroin picked another movie. That is crazy. You knew you were about to get privacy. It was about to be dark. Nobody was gonna be talking, and you were still like, no. That's gonna mess up my high. No. You know the movie bad too. You know the movie bad because apparently 2/3 of the crew didn't want credit for working on the movie. I don't know if you are familiar with Hollywood, but there's not a wide range of jobs right now. There are some people that are like, I'd rather them think I have a 10-year gap in my resume. They give you credit just for work, like you just did it, so then they give you credit. You did your job, and then they're like, that was done by this person, so we're gonna put this person in the credits. It takes effort. It takes effort to hit up the editor and be like, hey, can you hit backspace on my name? Bruh, just do me this solid and just lay that knuckle on the space bar and hit backspace a couple times. If you can't delete it, can you change it? 2/3 is most people. Two-thirds. Who want credit? Craft service? Who is? In my head, I'm like, wow, is it that bad? That then it gets done, and then they're like, oh, I don't want anybody to know that I was holding the boom for this. Imagine you over here. It was crazy. Yeah, because who would have thought? No, who would have, especially, must really not understand your target audience. Trying to tell the story of a woman who's an immigrant. They're speculating on what the movie is gonna gross, and I think it's gonna gross. I don't know where do you even go from here? It's like I thought this was gonna be like her life. Apparently, the movie is like the first 3 weeks of January. Leading up to the inauguration. It's like when I heard that, I was like, oh, what? I thought there'd at least be some mystery in it. You know what I mean? I thought there'd be some questions answered, like, Joe. Because that is a doc I would watch. If you actually had a timeline of Melania as a documentary, and you did the whole, I would be like, yeah, no, I need to know. That's the closest thing we're gonna get to some sort of structured through line on the Epstein files. You know what I mean? Like that. Even if it's crowded, it'll be long, No, it just blows my mind. I don't know. We're in a fragmented place now where it feels like maybe a sort of like monocultural moment as far as films go is beyond us. Who knows? Because we haven't really had a breakout event that got lots of people excited in a way that almost meant a sort of frenzy since like Barbie and Oppenheimer came out. That was like the last time that people were like, we're gonna go to the movie all day, we're gonna double up, I'm gonna wear pink and watch a movie about bombs. Or go see Barbie in a top hat. Or whatever. Yeah, and it's crazy to think, because when you see things like the Netflix top 10, and you see what these, at least is what Netflix says, are the most popular things in the US, most popular things in the world, and you see where these numbers lay out as far as titles, it tells you a lot about what we collectively would like to see, because it's what we seem to be picking across cultures. And there's still things that are like baffling to me about it. Like how how did he not hit number one? Like, just, he climbed a skyscraper. What else do you have to do? It's been fantastic being back here. I've been so excited to come back, and I've noticed a few things. I've noticed okay. There's a few differences that are jarring to me, and I didn't notice them the first time, even the second time that I came here. Your taxi drivers are so good. I'm not sure what you're used to. Maybe I've only had the nice ones. I have no idea. But they're like knowledgeable. Maybe I'm not getting it across. They have to take like a test, like a hard test, and you know about it. I'm not saying that the taxi drivers in New York don't have to take a test. I'm sure there's some tests, but it feels like the test in New York is hitting your first person. Like, just... The test that y'all have created for your taxi drivers, to me, is wild, because it's a lot of knowledge that you have to have in you. Like, you need to know. And I understand that's probably back from when there were no alternatives. Like, they made this test a long time ago when, you should know every inch, every corner, because you're gonna have to get people where they're going, and they may not know. But then GPS did come out. And so the fact that for the test, y'all make these taxi drivers sit there. They're not even taxi drivers yet. They want to be taxi drivers. And you make them sit there and tell them, hey, get me to this place. But they're not driving. They don't drive you there. They got to know how to get there in their head. That blows my mind. That they have to sit there and be like, all right, left on, right on, straight, 2 blocks. They have to do that like they're playing chess. Meanwhile, in the U.S., you hop in a cab. I've hopped in cabs that weren't that far from my apartment and told them my address, and they were like, where? Like, I've been in a cab with the cab driver, and both of us are lost. Like, I'm not saying people can't have a bad day or not know where something is. Maybe they've never been somewhere before. I understand that New York is a very big place and everything. But if I also have to pull out my Google Maps while you pull out your Google Maps, I don't know, maybe some sort of discount is in order? Like, I've been in the taxis here, and they so chipper. Ask you about yourself, how long you're visiting. And this isn't just one, this is like several. This has been my general experience, that they're very, very nice. They're very, very professional, I understand everybody probably isn't that way, but wow, by and large, I've been amazed. There was one time I took a cab when I was in New York, and it was a similar situation where I looked up and I was like, okay, maybe he's going a different way than I'm used to, because I was going home. And finally, I just, to myself, quietly, opened my phone, put my address in Google Maps, and I could see where we were and where home was. And then I knew where we had left, and it should have been a pretty straight shot. And we were going to the right. And in my head, I was like, is he taking me somewhere? But this is terrifying. And so after like 2 blocks of us going in the wrong direction for what felt like no reason, I finally said, sir, and then he went, oh! forgotten I was in the taxi. And I guess just started driving home. I don't know where he was going. And we were like, you know, I say it should have been a straight shot. We had veered off a decent amount. Like, I had called it out 2 streets from where I found us on Google, but we were very much to the right of where I live. And so finally I was like, hey, are you all right? He's like, oh, yeah, you scared me. No, sir. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was in the middle of trying to pay you. And he's like, yeah, you scared me. Oof. Oh, man. Yeah, where'd you want to go? And I said my address, and he was like, oh, that's a little far. Just saying, treasure what you have. Even the fire doors here, y'all take very seriously. The fire doors are big here. We have them in the U.S. too, except there's one big difference between our fire doors there and your fire doors here. Your fire doors open in, which shocked me. They open in. And I was talking to somebody about it, talked to several people about it, and they were like, oh yeah, they open in because you don't want the backdraft to like let the fire out and everything, which does make, that's science. That's logic, yes. But if I'm using the fire door, I would love to get out as fast as possible. That's just me. That's what we do over there, right? Which might be why so many of our buildings last, I suppose. But I was like, why do y'all open them in? Like the people using the fire door trying to get out. And the guy that I was talking to was like, look, yeah, I understand that may seem odd to you, but we as a country have made an agreement that you're already on fire. Be a gentleman about it and don't catch everyone else on fire, all right? I've been walking around London, been enjoying being here and everything. You know, it's hard to not just notice all the differences. Like what things are like where you're from and what things are like in the place that you're visiting. And I gotta say, wow, y'all really just walk out in front of the car like that. That is just... That is insane. This is a wild thing to do. I know they don't hit you or whatever, and they're not supposed to, and I don't know what happens to them if they do. But the way y'all will step out and the car is here. Wow. I'm not like a fighter. I don't know how. Jimmy, like I've tried before, but I fight the same way that I bake. After a while, I'm just doing stuff with my hands to do it, but I'm not sure if this is right and it's not getting us anywhere. You know? Like one time, I was at this pizza party, okay? It's a pizza party that our class got because we had been good, which will be ironic in a second. But the teacher, because we got this pizza party for being so good, the teacher had built trust in us, which was a huge mistake. And so the teacher ordered pizza for the class. We got all these pizzas and dished out like 2 slices for everybody. Pick any 2 slices of these 3 to 4 different kinds of pizza that you like. And then our teacher left the room. And I don't know where this teacher went. It wasn't until I got older that I could even read the signs and think back about it in a way that contextualized why this teacher may have left. I think the pizza party, I think the teacher leaving was because they were hungover. They clearly had to be hungover. This whole thing screams hungover because they left and they never came back. They never came back for the rest of the class. And so everybody's eating pizza. Some people are getting more full than others quicker and everything. And then finally, there was 1 slice left. And when I tell you that this classroom turned to Lord of the Flies so quickly, you would think we had never eaten. You would think this was a pizza party where almost all of us were full and everyone wanted the last slice just to have it. So much so that people even debated whether we should just rip it up and let everybody have a little bit. And then a couple people were like, no, that's crazy. What's wrong with you? There's a whole slice of pizza for one of us. And this is how I knew I didn't know how to fight, because I also wanted a piece of the pizza. Admittedly, I was also like, let me go ahead, throw my hat in there, right? And there was one kid, he was very big. And so some people didn't want to smoke immediately because he was first to get tall. And tall in your mind when you're a kid means grown. So he's the adult in the room. But I was like, no, I want some of this pizza. There were some other kids. I want some of this pizza. And because he was bigger than everybody, he was like, all right, we'll decide this fair and square. Let's fight for it. And 2 other kids had backed up before he had finished the sentence, fight for it. I was the only one still sort of standing there waiting to hear the end of his sentence. And so once he said fight for it, I was like, ooh. So it's going to be a couple of us and you, or is it... But then I turned and everybody had backed up so many steps. I was like, uh-oh, I'm the only one. Man, y'all made a circle fast. Everybody came together to, wow, y'all moved the desks. This is, this is crazy. Why can't y'all be this organized when we play basketball? This is, And so then it was me and him. And I didn't know how to fight then. I don't really know how to fight now, but I think it starts with a push. I've seen that a lot in movies where it's like the fight starts, first person gotta like, you know? And so I backed up a little bit. And I was like, okay. Okay. I'm gonna push him. He gonna fall down. He gonna explode. I'm gonna get some pizza. Also, you should know that your opponent doesn't know how to fight and to go easy on them when instead of this, they do this. This is salsa. And so I was like, okay. Huh. And I went to push him, and I fell back. Because he wasn't built like a child, to be fair. And then I spring up real quick. I was like, okay, that didn't work. Looks like we're going to have to go to slaps. Slaps are next. And so I tried to fake him out. I reared back like I was going to punch him. And then I used my other hand. I was like, because I'd seen that in the cartoons. I was like, that's how you gather the power. And then I tried to fake him out, other hand. And also, like in the cartoons, his head turned and then he just stared at me. And before I could say, uh-oh, he punched me in my face, right? Now, you're never actually supposed to see yourself. No, that's like a fact. You never see yourself. Like when you even look in a mirror, you're looking at your reflection. You're looking at yourself reversed. Like you're never supposed to see yourself, really. Like not in the natural world. People can take pictures and stuff, but you're not supposed to see yourself the way other people see you. That's a thing that I learned in school, right? That you never see yourself exactly the way other people see you. You see a version of yourself, and it's actually why sometimes you can get in your head, because the version of yourself you see might not reflect the version that other people see at all. And so sometimes you sound delusional off of how you see yourself versus what they see. I said all that to say they punched me so hard in the face that I think my eyes saw each other. I don't know. So the punch looked like an optical illusion where, you know how you forget your nose? Like your nose is actually in your field of vision all the time, but your brain forgets it, or else a nose would be blocking everything that you see all the time. So then you don't see your nose, but it's right there. It's right in your face. And the punch worked the same way. I didn't really see it coming, and then I saw it for a second, and then it was gone, which is how I thought, oh, maybe my head is caved around his fist. Now, I know that this didn't happen, because if it happened, I wouldn't be here right now. But this is what it felt like, because I was like, ooh, wow, it's coming fast. I saw it, and now I don't see it, but I feel it. That's crazy. Does he have superpowers? And then he reared back, right? And so I was like, all right, I think the best defense for whatever that was is to just start swinging. And so then I swung again. And you ever play Grand Theft Auto and fly out the car? And you know how you get that doll effect? You sort of flying forever and then you bounce and it changes your trajectory a little bit. Okay, anyway, I said that to say that I reared back for a real punch this time, no slap. Reared back, it was gonna be a real punch. And then when I started swinging, he hit me again. I didn't see this one at all. It felt like he had somebody help or something, because he hit me, I know he came around like this, but it stayed hidden forever. This kid hit me, and I turned my head from the punch and licked my elbow. Which you're not supposed to be able to do. You're actually not supposed, it's like a party trick if you can lick your elbow. You're not supposed to touch your elbow, but I think I twisted so hard with my mouth open saying no that I caught a taste of my elbow. Whole reason I tell you about this is that years later, oh, he got the pizza, by the way. Years later, I found out that our teacher, who gave us the pizza party and then left us, who I'm sure now, through hindsight, was hungover, was seen later by one of our classmates who went to the bathroom, and on the way to the bathroom, they passed the teacher's lounge, and in the teacher's lounge, they saw our teacher just sitting, eating a whole pizza by themselves. Head hanging over the pizza, but whole pizza nonetheless. We were fighting for the last slice. You had like 11 more. It was crazy. I tried really hard to take a break, because I never want to be the type of person that talks about the same thing over and over again, you know? I thought, okay, maybe it's not even worth talking about, you know? Like Trump went to Davos. He went to Davos and he was like, I demand Greenland. And then everybody at Davos was like, ah. And he was like, I want it, and you know, I'm going to take it. This is before he got there. I want him to take it. We're going to get it. We're going to take it. If you don't give it to us, and take it. And then he got there. And then when they were like, but yeah, you say you're going to take it, but are you going to like use military force? Are you really going to come get it? Do you want the smoke? And he was like, I just like to have it if you... No, it's just if you want it. I don't know, if you just wanted to see me happy. No, if you felt like doing me a favor. You know what I'm saying? Like if you I thought we were friends, but whatever. It's cool. But like, it'd be cooler if you gave it to me. And then they were like, no. He was like, what about a little bit? What about some? Like, we're already there all the time. Maybe some. Maybe give me 2 pieces. Can I have 2 Greenlands? Just 2 little pieces. If it's okay with you. And then they went, they, negotiated. And from my understanding, what they have decided is that the areas where there's already a U.S. military base in Greenland, those pieces of land where that base is will be seen as like sovereign U.S. land. But no other land, no land that they weren't already on, is becoming U.S. land, which is not the same thing as taking Greenland. It's basically saying you can stand on the ground you're standing on like you were already standing there. Because you need to stand somewhere, I suppose. And no matter how they try to spend it, no matter how they try to spin it, no matter how they try to like art of the deal it or whatever, he knows, because when he approached the press and they were like, sir, because they're at Davos, this is here, this is where he's sitting, I'm gonna go get it. And they were like, sir, did you get Greenland? He, all by himself, himself, no one else, alone, they asked him, and then he was like, so you should have played it off. I thought you were gonna come out there and be like, we got some Greenland. Because technically you did get a little bit of Greenland, the Greenland you were already standing on. That's something, kind of. It's nothing like what you said, but it's something. It's like, stuff happens. All you can do is try. Because you do the best you can to not have to think about things. Sometimes to not think about the news and what's going on. It's like, it's a constant thing. It's like beating it down all the time. Every notification, every scroll on any platform, whole algorithms dedicated to reminding you everything that's going on, And when you see what's happening in Minnesota, when you see this latest murder, because that's what it is. There's no way around it. There's no justification. There's no both sidesing it. By any manner of how you look at things, ethically, morally, legally, this thing was murder. And so you see Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, Minnesota, trying to take up for someone else, trying to defend someone else, right? ICE pushed this woman to the ground, and he stepped in the way, had his hands up. And they didn't just knock him to the ground. They pistol whipped him, they beat him, and they shot him. All of it on camera, all of it with people watching. And I think it's very easy to see something like that happen somewhere else, and while being shocked, while being disgusted and horrified, while understanding every transgression, every moral failing about it, it's very easy to say, this thing is horrible. Thank God it can't happen here. And the problem with thinking that way is that that's exactly how things happen here. You think it can't come, and you think it can't come by virtue of who you are or how things operate. And then when it's at your doorstep, you almost don't know what to do. Because I'm telling you, as someone who has lived in the U.S. my entire life and grew up around people who watched the rest of the world, watched coups, watched civil wars, watched all manner of horrific things, and watch people say, thank God that can never happen here. And then it starts to. And these people don't know what to do with themselves, because the whole reason it wasn't happening here was because we just told ourselves that it couldn't. We told ourselves a lie to make ourselves feel better. The only way it can't happen here is if it actually can't happen here. The only way it can't happen here is through the action it takes to hold people accountable nonstop to where it can never happen here. The only way that it cannot happen here is if there's an understanding that it could happen here. You know? I don't want to see what happened in Minneapolis happen anywhere else. Anywhere else in the world, anywhere else in the U.S. But there needs to be an understanding of what is happening. We're all the way to science fiction now. We're all the way to the classics. We're living in some sort of like George Orwell excerpt. It's happening because you see the video. You can see the video from so many angles. And then you see the statements by the Department of Homeland Security. You see the statements by potentially the president. You see the statements by people, political pundits on Twitter. And they are telling you not to believe your eyes. They're lying in your face. That's not what you heard. The way these systems work is that you would think, at least, the way it's propped up is a three-tiered system, right? There's the person on the ground. There's the person you might actually come in contact with, and maybe they believe certain things, maybe y'all butt heads, right? Then above that tier is the actual politician, the politician that stokes them up. They blow the dog whistles that get this person to say the thing out loud. But then above that, even above the politician, is the person that pays the politician. The person that, if we're talking about a world of puppets and puppet masters, is actually pulling the strings. A person that you will never come in contact with, even though you will feel the extension of their power. You know? We see these systems fighting each other, right? Because someone would ask, anyone could ask, where are the Democrats right now? Where have the Democrats been? And you'll see some Democrats actually make some sort of statement, you know? But the statement will, interestingly, not have the same bite that you would expect. Y'all are supposed to be the opposition party. What's happening? What's happening is that the same corporate interests pay both people. You know, there's one party that is a bit better at being an extension of those interests outwardly, openly. But the other party is paid to do nothing in the meantime. But make no mistake, both parties can be owned. It's why you should never put your faith in a party. You put your faith in people all the time. You never stop believing in people. People move those parties. Those parties don't mean anything. Parties don't believe in anything. It's the people in those parties that actually make action happen. There's no one party that has handled everything right throughout human history or any government, but there are people that use the momentum that they create through a party to affect change. You know, they'll have you fighting over scraps, over whose scraps these should be. Meanwhile, they've broken off a whole piece for themselves. And the politician's perfectly happy to let them because they've already been paid off. You have to trust in the people that you meet. You have to build community anywhere that you can. And when you build a community large enough, you have an entire network of people that you can trust. Because trust, when you see something like what's happening right now in the U.S., where ICE attacked that man. ICE attacked that woman that the man was defending. ICE took away his weapon, a weapon he wasn't using. It's on camera. You can watch the whole thing. ICE beat that man. They shot him several times. And you can watch that entire thing. And maybe you can find some conscionable reason that this would happen, why everything hasn't gone awry. But I think if you can, then you might be a little bit too far gone. This thing was sick and it was illegal. And it's scary when your law is on the other side of legal. When you don't know what to do. And it's hard to know what to do. These are big forces we're talking about. You're talking about huge corporations, oligarchs, billionaires. I'm talking about senators. We're talking about politicians that have real meetings with people with power. So it's hard to know what to do. But you do what you can. You do everything that you can. I am not a fighter. I don't know how. I tried to fight for some pizza once. And I saw my own eyes. So maybe you're not a fighter. Maybe you organize. Maybe you're a connector. Maybe you do your best to bring people together. But any action that you do is something. Every action that you do is something. All these people, thousands of people protesting in Minnesota right now is also for the world to see. They took a life in front of the entire world to scare everybody, maybe scare you, so that when this comes here, maybe you comply in advance. Palantir isn't just in one country. No? But thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people gathered together in negative 20 degrees. And that's Fahrenheit. I don't know what y'all would call it. But thousands of people gathered together in the cold to protest what they see that is illegal, that is wrong, that is immoral, that is not just unethical, that is tearing down every institution of the Constitution that the people that are representing them supposedly want to uphold. That's not nothing. You see those massive numbers and you see how you're not the only one who thinks something's going wrong. And when you're not the only one that thinks something's going wrong, you're not the only voice shouting for them to stop. And when you're not the only voice shouting for them to stop, you're not the only one rising up to make it stop. And when you're not the only one rising up to make it stop, you have an entire army of people behind you that support you, that have your back. Alex Preddy said, this is what's been said before he went to the protest, that he just wanted to make a difference. That's all he wanted. Trying to make a difference, standing in between someone else and more harm. That's something that's very brave to do. It's very scary to do. But it's what he could do. So he did it. Because now there's something that is on us. It's on every person that watches one of those videos. Alex wanted to make a difference. We decide if it makes a difference. All of us do. Everywhere. You may think to yourself, well, look, I'm just a person living in the UK. Don't know what I can do for the people in the US. You can let them hear your voice. You can let them know that you see what's happening, that no one's fooling you, that they have your support. You can make sure that what's happening there never happens here. You can make sure that it can't happen here. If it can't happen here, then that's a start. We were sure it couldn't happen to us. We were like, come on, this is America. And the corporations were like, yeah, we know. You know? But I sincerely hope that every single one of you understand that your life is precious and it has more meaning to other people that you haven't met yet than you could ever imagine. And so anytime one of these things, one of these terrible events, one of these corporations, one of these billionaires, one of these politicians tries to make you feel small, you need to understand that they're just a person too. And they're a person that's scared. It's why they want to scare you. They can't scare you. Because you won't let it happen here. If you see anything like it happening, you just have to snuff that thing out. You just have to make sure you call it what it is. And from afar, you know? The key is prevention. Alex Peretti said to people before he went to protest that he just wanted to make a difference. We decide what that difference is. Because they took him from us. So that difference has to mean something. It can't just mean something in the US. I think it has to mean something everywhere. Everywhere that this evil can go, the difference has to go. You know? I'll tell you this thing before I go so that you heard something funny. It is wild how when you come here and you be walking around, I can't help but compare. I'll take the tube and wow, this thing is very clean. I say that and you might be thinking to yourself, no, it's not clean. I saw a bag of crisps on the floor. When I tell you it's incredibly sweet that you think that that is dirty, I come from New York, where the subway, it's a way to travel. The subway has caked up. I don't think I'm touching the floor when I walk on the subway. It's not just dirty, it's dirty with history. Like I don't even know if this is the initial color they intended for the subway to be. And when you look at the tracks here, when you look at the tracks of the tube, you see the tracks. Wow. Didn't even know what technology we were using to move these trains. When you look at the tracks in New York City, you see not just a rat. You see a congregation. You witness a meeting. I don't know what they're talking about, but it must be important because everybody listening. I'm not saying you don't have your issues with your tube. I'm not even saying that you don't have at least one in the whole system. I'm sure there's one delicate Disney Pixar mouse. I'm sure you have one Paddington type mouse that goes on little adventures with his friends and learns valuable lessons about responsibility. I'm positive. It seems like you would have that. Yes, I'm sure that you have one little mouse that chirps when he talks, squeaks a little bit anytime he gets excited. Y'all probably named him or whatever. Leave cheese out for him. No, I'm talking about a harrowing scenario. I'm talking about okay. Normally, and anyone who has been to New York City or lived in New York can attest to this, when you see the rats on the track, it's almost like a little zoo. You're like, oh, look at them. I mean, it's gross, but like, yeah, going about their day and everything. Oh, I wonder what that one's talking to that one about. Oh, they're both chasing each other back and forth and everything. Oh, they see a little bit of food, they're getting the food. And there's a very like innocent, I would even say like cohabitating mentality to it. Where you're like, all right, I'm not gonna do anything about this. And they're there and it's not affecting me, so whatever. But every once in a while, one of those rats will try to climb up to the platform where you are. And as soon as it happens, you're like, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Because it doesn't even try to climb up normal. This thing doesn't just like peek its head up. This thing... There was one time it was happening. There was one time this rat was climbing up the platform, gripping, trying to get on top. And everybody, some people backed up, 2 people screamed. It's one of the rare times in my life that I sprung into action. Because he was climbing up, it felt like he was halfway there, and I was like,